Hey everyone, Rizwan Jagani here, not in vlogger mode, not in performer mode, but in product insight mode. I figured I would do this video because I found out not a lot of people know that you can go about this approach for sheet music. I actually know enough people that do that kind of gave me insight on this, so I figured I would share my insight and a combination of everyone's insight together in this video. Recently, I have gone completely digital with my sheet music, meaning I don't carry a binder full of things, I don't carry like numerous parts. I have everything in one source, maybe with the exception of my etude books and anything I get through CMU Orchestra. So I'm using an iPad Pro. Now, I'm not endorsing Apple, I'm not endorsing any of the products that I'm going to be talking about that sort of make this process easier. I just use Apple because I have a Mac and I have an iPhone, so everything's kind of just integrated together. But there are good Android tablets that I'm sure do amazing things as well, sometimes even better. One of the biggest reasons why I feel like this is also most useful is because classical musicians are blessed with the Petrucci IMSLP library, which basically has music by all these different composers that are in public domain. And it just makes it easier in terms of, maybe a store or maybe a website might not have the sheet music book you're looking for. There's a chance it'll be online and then you have it ready to go in your PDF reader. I use two different applications when it comes to the iPad because both of them do things slightly different and I really like how different things work, but I do have a favorite of the two. These two apps are iBooks and Fourscore. iBooks is the free app that comes with every Apple product and Fourscore is $9.99 on the Apple Music library. There's also a free one called PScore. I have a friend that uses it and he really likes it, but I was recommended to go with Fourscore as well. And just because I knew enough people to do it, and I really like how it turned out. It was a good, investment in that. So first thing I'm going to talk about is iBooks. You can import any PDF document into it, and it'll show up to you. You just click the page, you can swipe. That way you can go through the book. And what I like about it, especially on this Apple iPad, is that you can mark on the score. For example, this is my music theory homework. So I have, for example, exposition and some chords marked here. What I really like about this is that if you are marking your sheet music and you need to erase something, you're erasing only the thing that you write and not the actual music itself. The only downside about this is the pen that you use or stylus or whatever sometimes does not show up clearly, like it has a slight delay, and sometimes it doesn't show up at all. For example, if I'm writing the number 11, I'm going 1, 1, I have to wait about 2 seconds before I write the second one after writing the first one. But iBooks is a good starter app if you want to get into this, and it works with the second thing I'm going to talk about. But now we're going to talk about Fourscore, and this is actually my favorite app. I really like this one because I use it for scores, I use it for my parts, whether it's my solo rep, my chamber music, and my non-classical stuff. I use Finale a lot, and the problem with using Finale is you never know if you make a mistake. I mean, even if you double check it, you don't know until you're actually playing. And rather than printing out numerous times the same score, checking it to see if there's a mistake, I put it on the tablet and then I can even block out the note completely and put the correction if I need to, which is actually the disadvantage in Fourscore. For example, if I show you right here, I don't know if I can do this. If I need to correct a mistake here, for example, like say I bracket a measure or I write a note that I don't need later and I want to erase, I have the potential of erasing the actual music, which isn't good, but it does come in handy. For example, if let's say your friend gives you a Xeroxed part that has so many markings on it and it's hard to read, you can clear up all of those markings with the eraser tool. Fourscore in general is also just a great app because it has a built-in metronome, a tuner, a drone sound, because I like to do a lot of practicing with drones, especially when I'm doing intonation work, and that helps a lot. The only downside about the metronome is that it's not loud enough if you're playing in a group. It's good enough if you're doing it individually. You have a full editing palette that allows you to write, highlight, erase, go from page to page. You have a ruler tool so you can draw staff lines, for example, or ledger lines. That way you're not having to worry about crooked lines. I know all of us are OCD about crooked lines. You have a setting that allows you to keep the iPad on for the complete time you're using Fourscore rather than it going off with the iPad itself. And I have to credit Ani Osnovorian for that. She's the one who told me about this and all the different functions. It's actually a really cool app. I'm working on Der Spannendreher right now, and I have color-coded writings in here, highlighted marks, and all these notes that, just make things easier. And the best part is I have about 15 pieces of music I'm working on right now, and they're all here. One thing I have to carry in my backpack. Now, it goes without saying that yes, this is a very useful piece of material, but how do you turn pages? At least on a music stand with regular sheet music, you could put 3 pages out and not have to worry about turning. That's where this baby comes in. This is the page flip butterfly, and once again, my amazing cellist friend Anya Aznavourian recommended this to me after she's trial and tested a couple of pedals, and she really likes this one. The one downside about it is that you have to use AA batteries rather than like a USB charger or a wall adapter charger to charge it. But I guess that's one small price to pay. I always carry extra batteries with me when I'm traveling anyway, and they're not that hard to come by. And what's really cool is you turn this on and you sync it with Bluetooth to the application on the iPad. So I have the music right here, and all I have to do is click pedal, and it'll turn the page for me, which is amazing when you're playing a sonata that has like 5 pages out and it's non-stop. For example, I was playing Vietnam Sonata last year, and it's 5 pages the first movement, and it's continuous, so you don't have time to turn pages. So rather than using 2 music stands, you have an iPad that does everything for you. Or when you're playing chamber music, for example, in my string quartet, I don't play from the viola part, I play from the actual score. Just because it makes things easier for me. If I get lost, I can quickly see, okay, second violin here, re-enter here. And that sort of thing. I really like it, and that's actually one of the reasons why I like the bigger screen. I did use an iPad 2 for some time for the same thing. I did not know about the foot pedal though, but I was able to sort of read things on there, and I had used it for a few gigs. If I had taken pictures of parts, I had the photo here. Another cool fact is that if you take photos of any sheet music score on the iPad, you can compile them into a PDF document and then open them in Fourscore or iBooks. And I really like this. It's been great this year. I also use the iPad for some of my homework assignments, which is dual purpose. You know, I'm one of the few people that use the iPad for work and not for anything else. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have had any experience with other apps, other tablets, or other foot pedals, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you think about those. And be sure to stay tuned for my other videos that are coming up. I have a few performance videos, a few other talk videos, and a few collaborative videos coming up. And so I'm sure you don't want to miss that. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share this video if you know anybody that is thinking of going electric with their sheet music. Thank you so much. Bye.